You're tuned in to The Keetria Show and listening to SOB, Style of Business, the podcast with your host, Keetria. We aim to highlight the ongoing trek of entrepreneurs and business owners from around the globe, featuring stories that recount their struggles, experiences, and inevitable road to success and self-fulfillment. Welcome to SOB.
This podcast is being brought to you by my inspiring new book titled Courage is a Muscle, Using Heart to Power Your Entrepreneurial Dreams. You can grab your copy today on Amazon. Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks so much for tuning in to another hot episode of SOB, Style of Business, the podcast. This is your host, Keetria. And this week we're back with another wonderful guest. We're talking to the health hero, better known by Tim James. He is the founder of Chemical Free Body, and he's also the host of the awesome show titled the Health Hero Show, which is an awesome podcast. And hey, this is going to be a great show. We're still at the top of the year. We need to see how we can better transform our bodies. He's talking about health, fitness, just overall, wellness of entrepreneurs, and what we need to be doing to make sure that our bodies are fueled as much as possible. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Tim so he can drop that beautiful introduction for us, and we will keep the ball rolling from there. Tim, how are you doing today? How's it going?
Keetria, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on your show and giving me an opportunity to share with your listeners. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We are pleased that you are here and definitely excited to have you on. And I guess let's start with that introduction. Chemical Free Body, like that whole title. If anybody if you've stumbled upon this and you just seen the title, you need to tune in, because I'm telling you, this can be a life-changing conversation. I mean, this guy's going to be dropping some information that we probably can't hear often enough. So go ahead and drop, Tim, if you will, give us a little backstory or introduction of who you are and what you're doing, and we'll get rolling from there.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I actually grew up on a farm over in Eastern Oregon. And I grew up hunting and fishing. We raised Hereford cattle, had a garden, all that kind of stuff. But I was pretty much raised on the standard American diet. I played baseball at a high level for 30 years, so I consider myself an athlete. Fast forward to age 37. I was close to 40 pounds overweight. My energy was waning. I wasn't sleeping well. I ballooned up. I had acid reflux so bad I was eating Tums and Rolaids all day long.
Oh, wow.
It got worse. My doctor wanted me to go on Prilosec, and then I started getting eczema on both of my elbows and a huge patch on my knee. And as it got worse and worse, it would crack and would bleed. In the winter times, it was really bad. And as a financial advisor, I couldn't even wear white shirts anymore because I'd be bleeding all over them. So I'd go over to your house and bump into your wall, and I'd be cleaning your wall or cleaning your couch at a Super Bowl party. It was just imagining bleeding on stuff all the time. And it was very painful too, because it cracked and, so that sucked. And then it got worse. I started bleeding rectally every time I'd poop. And that was not fun. That went on for 2.5 years. And then finally on a vacation, I had to be basically life driven in the middle of the night from northern Peru down to Piura to get doped up in a third world hospital under an examination table with bugs flying around me. I paid into my health care my whole life, never used it. Now here I am, and I can't even use it because I'm in a different country. I flew into Lima and went right into surgery at my wife at the time's dad was a director of this clinic, and he was a doctor, and I had an organ removed. So what I learned from that whole experience is that my poor health didn't affect just me. It affected everybody else around me, because I ruined this trip we'd all planned out for over a year and thousands of dollars. And I ended up getting pushed back in the United States on a wheelchair. So fast forward, I had a buddy of mine on my baseball team, Clay Mahoy, that got diagnosed with stomach cancer. He went through chemo and surgery and all that, and died 80 pounds under his normal weight on hospice and morphine drips. And he looked like he was from Auschwitz. It was terrible. Fast forward a few years for that, another good friend of mine at age 43, Charles, gets diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is this supposedly incurable blood cancer. He drops the bomb on me, and now I'm just like, Jesus, because it's like my grandma died of brain cancer, my aunt died of skin cancer, and now, Calais died of the stomach cancer. Now my buddy Charles has got it. Now this is starting to freak me out, because these people are my age, right?
Yeah,
so usually people get older, they die of something. You don't really pay attention to it because you just expect, that's what happens when people get old, they die. Yeah. That'll happen to me someday. But 40, 43,
exactly. Wow.
this is like hitting home. I'm thinking, shit, this could be me, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And Charles is like, hey, man, I'm going to go to this place called the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. They're a 60-year-old at the time, detox and nutrition clinic. Will you come with me to support me? Judith can't get away, his wife. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. Whatever you need. I had no idea what I was signing up for. On the plane flight there, he's like, oh, by the way, when we get there, there's no meat, there's no dairy, there's no salt, there's no sugar, there's no vinegar, and there's nothing cooked over 115 degrees. And I was like, excuse me, what was that? No meat?
Wow.
You know, and like freaking me out because I'm a hunter, right? I hunt and fish and provide that stuff for myself and my family. Freaked out, but I went anyway to support my buddy. And what happened is that day one at the Institute, my acid reflux was gone. I went to a class called Internal Awareness. It was the first one there by this doctor who was very fit, has full of muscles. And I asked him, it happened to be his birthday that day. And he said he was 40. Or no, I thought he was 40 and he just turned 50.
Oh, wow.
So this guy looked 10 years younger than what he was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And he was just super fit. And he said he hadn't had meat in 10 years. And I was like, what?
Right.
So he completely blew that whole thing for me. Now, for those of you listening, I don't want to turn you off and make you think that I'm saying you can't eat meat. I'm not saying that at all. That was just what happened there. And that place is totally a plant-based healing center, you know, and then after people get well, then, you know, that's what they believe. And then some people can go back, have a little bit of meat, just kind of, maybe you still need it. It's whatever. I don't talk about that too much. I just kind of have people eat more plants. But so what I did was this class, he said the average person, Keetria, is carrying around 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in the colon.
My goodness.
This is a very acid-based, low oxygen environment. He said, you know, your colon is supposed to be it's a waste removal system, not a storage tank. And he said, Tim, you got 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. And if you ever want to get healthy, truly healthy, have a vibrant lifestyle and not be succumbing to all these health issues that everybody else is having today, you need to clean it out. And then he was telling us and educating us on how to do enemas and colon hydrotherapy, which I'd never even heard of before. And then when he explained it, I elbowed Charles, like, I ain't doing that.
Right.
So, and for those of you listening, a colonic or colon hydrotherapy is you sit on a tube rectally and water gently goes in and out for an hour and it cleans your colon and gets all that garbage out of there. And then he started showing the insides of people with scopes, like a healthy man or woman, and it was nice and pink and clean in the colon. But then there was a 24-year-old woman with MS and colitis, and it was yellow and brown. And then a 55-year-old man with parasites and prostate cancer, and it was disgusting. Worms were in there, and 64-year-old woman with fibromyalgia and diverticulitis or something, just yellow and white, nasty, or they had candida, a lot of white in there. And I'm like, I'm getting that stuff cleaned up. Yeah. So the next day. I went in, they weighed me. I did the colon hydrotherapy deal. They weighed me again an hour later. I dropped 10 pounds of impacted fecal material in 1 hour. What? It was crazy. Now, what happened is that it changed my life. It's like, we have to treat our body like a car, and you got to take it into the shop and tune it up. Yeah. Eating more good food, that's putting in good fuel. You definitely want to do that. But if you haven't done this, everybody, remember the average person, I've been at this now for 10 years and I've helped hundreds of people clean out their colons because it's a necessity. You got to get that stuff out of there. See, when you have a low oxygen environment and it's full of acid, which this impacted stuff does, it creates a breeding ground for harmful organisms, viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, fungus, parasites, little worms, and mutagens. Cancers love it. Why is there so much colon cancer? Well, the Royal Society of Medicine said that 85% of disease starts in the colon. And after doing this work for 10 years and living the life myself, I can tell you that's what's going on. And so a couple days later, Charles and I looked at each other after a few days on the program. We're walking back to our little hacienda thing. It was in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I said, hey, man, do you feel as good as I do? He's like, yeah, I feel great. I said, I literally have energy tingling in my arms. My mental clarity is ridiculous. I said, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to give up all meat except for bacon, and I'm going to do this thing with you. Oh, wow. And this is and we came home and we started growing sprouts and juicing and doing these green juices, and continued the detox process. And in 60 days, I lost all the weight. I could feel my ribs again. My acid reflux has never returned. It's been 10 years. And my elbows, eczema gone. In 8 months, the big patch on my knee of eczema was gone. And I went from wearing larges and extra larges to smalls and mediums again, like I did in college.
Wow.
I completely transformed myself. And in 2.5 years, my friend Charles's white blood cell count was back in the normal range. He'd healed himself without chemo, surgery, or radiation from this incurable so-called blood cancer through a great attitude, detoxing, getting the digestive tract clean, and then cleaning out the blood, the fat, and the muscle tissue of these harmful toxins and chemicals that are bioaccumulating inside of us that we can't see. And he was able to watch his son, graduate high school and then go to father-son weekends at Oregon State University. And him and I, a couple of weeks ago, were playing guitar. So it was a great ending to the story there.
You know what? It's profound the way as simple as it should seem, right? That, hey, take a look at the diet, take a look at what you're eating and make adjustments. But it's, to me, it just seems like it's just easier. And people just kind of opt for medication. And especially when you see documentaries like, Eat This and Not That and Cowspiracy and What the Health, you got to wonder, like, what is going on to where we just refuse to choose like the better side of dieting, like as far as eating the right foods. Like we consume a lot of sugar and grease and, like what do you think is what's going on there in the mentally to where we just can't, where it just takes us for us to hit the wall. Like it takes for something drastic to happen in order for us to say, okay, hey, I need to take a look at this. Yeah. You want to offer your,
and still some people, still some people won't change, but here's, when I first got into this, I'm like, I'm going to go help people with this,
right.
I'm going to really help people. I thought I'll just help them change their diet, get them cleaned up, and they'll be fine. Well, that's not the case. I've turned into a psychiatrist almost, because what's happened is you find out that 70% of the people, and I've personally coached over 600 people, one-on-one, in depth, in the trenches, getting down deep and dirty in their lives. And 60 to 70% of them have severe traumas from childhood. I've had people tell me about their mom was a drug addict and that multiple boyfriends come over and molested him, or dad threw him through a window. Dad threw him over a fence. Dad threw him off a roof. Dad beat mom. The dad was an alcoholic and he was absent. Mom and dad slept in different bedrooms. High needs children, autistic children. Taking care of elderly people. Stress at the workplace. Death. Divorce, child custody battles. All these things are tremendous stressors. Having to move, all these things are tremendous. And people a lot of times aren't equipped to deal with them because they've never been given the tool sets. Society doesn't really set you up for that kind of stuff. And our parents don't know either.
Yeah.
So in most cases. So what we have to do is what we learn is like, I ask, and I'm trying to find out where that childhood trauma is or where the big traumas are, and identify that, shine some light on it, because, darkness is gone as soon as there's light on it, and then reframe that and look at it instead of a bad thing that you might not even know is there. But if you do know it's there, reframe it into a positive, right? Because it is. And everything, this is a profound thing that I learned, that everything in life is meaningless. Think about that. Everything in life is meaningless. I didn't understand that in the beginning, but it's only the meaning that we associate to it or that we give it. So it's our choice to give something whatever that meaning is. Oh, that's bad or that's good. Now, I don't think things are bad anymore. If something comes up like, and quote unquote bad or negative, I look at it and I'm like, I thank it. I'm like, thank you so much for providing me so much contrast. My father's an example. He's not going to change. He's old school. He's got arthritis. He's on medications, and he's like, he won't listen to me. Tim, you're not a doctor. I'm like, I don't want to be a doctor. But look, I'm super healthy and I wasn't. And I maintained it for 10 years, and we've helped thousands of people do the same thing. So, maybe it's be something you pay attention to. Nope, he ain't going to change. So I quit trying to beat myself up on that. And then I realized that maybe on a higher level, my dad came down here to suffer, and so that he would create contrast for me, so that I would be like so empowered to take this message out, and so that I wouldn't have to experience the pain that he's experiencing, and I could save and help a whole bunch of other people help themselves, so that they don't have to experience the level of pain and suffering that he's going through.
Exactly.
A whole different way of looking at things. Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And I love the fact that you mentioned, even in situations like that, when of course you're not a medical licensed professional or anything like that, to where you try to provide some sort of insight, especially with the results that you've gotten for yourself, and people feel like, there's only one way, and that's through the pill or the prescription. So I just,
it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. Now let's look at basic biology. Break down the human body. What's the base component? Carbon. So we are a carbon-based organism. What is this pharmaceutical drug? It's an acid-based substance. It's not carbon. So we have to consume carbon. That's why herbs and herbal formulas are the way to go, because they're carbon. They're carbon-based. Like, I'll give you an example. Somebody's like, you need to take, and then for those of you listening that are anemic or had like Raynaud's syndrome, you'll get this. You're low on iron. You need to take an iron supplement. So you go take an iron supplement, and the iron supplement makes you sick and nauseated. Well, why is that? Because you are eating an iron oxide. This is like eating a railroad tie or a bridge, right? It's metal. What we need is a plant to wrap its roots around that railroad tie or the bridge or those materials that were in the soil that they mined out, and then transform it from an acid-based metal, a rock, into a carbon-based substance. So now you've got carbon-based iron because it's been through the root system of a plant, right?
Right, yeah. Now
your carbon-based body can absorb it and use it. That's the difference. So synthetics and acid-based things, they can work in trauma situations. If I get in a car accident and I get thrown down the street and my face is scraped off and I need some antibiotics so I don't get an infection, sure. But, knowing what I know, I would do something different because I know other natural antibiotics. There's garlic oil, one of the best ever. In fact, Heather Mills, I don't know if you remember her, that supermodel who was dating Paul McCartney. She got her leg whacked off and her stump got infected. And they had to cut off more of her leg. And then her stump got infected again in the hospital. And they cut off more of her leg. It got infected again. And then her friends were like, look, you're going to die if you don't do something. You need to go to the Hippocrates Health Institute, where I went, and see if they can help you. So she flew there, which happened to be the same place that Charles and I went. And they showed her how to bandage her stump with garlic oil that she made herself. And in 2 weeks, she's running around. The infection's gone. She's running around the institute on her prosthetic. Right? Wow. What's garlic oil and little garlic, pressed fresh organic garlic and olive oil cost? Like 8 cents, 20 cents?
Yeah.
There's no money in this stuff.
Exactly.
But for crisis situations, Western medicine, that's what it was built on. It was built on wartime. You get your arm blown off, you get shot in the guts, you get your leg cut, whatever. Triage. Great at that. Unbelievable. We need that. That's part of the system that we need. But for taking care of people's chronic issues, the system's broken. 3.3 trillion spent every year, and we are ranked 38th to 42nd in the world in health. The more money we put into it, the sicker we get, and Americans are the sickest people that have ever walked the face of the planet. So the system is not supporting us. I mean, just walking into a hospital, 5% of the people walking in die of something else that they walked in for.
Yeah.
Just by entering the hospital. And usually it's a bacterial infection because we've had too many antibiotics in our food chain, in the animals and stuff, because they've been feeding 70% of the antibiotics made by the pharmaceutical companies to the chickens and the cows and the turkeys. So we've built up a resistance to it, and that's why it doesn't work. So the system's broken, and what we need to do is we need to get the man-made toxic chemicals out of our body. We got to clean up our gut. We got to get back to nature, but understand that 85% of the nutrients have been farmed out of our soils. And when you have 85% gone, you're literally walking around on 15% fuel. How well is your car going to run on 15% octane?
Right. Yeah.
That's what most people are doing. That's what almost everybody's doing. 98, 99% of people are on 15% octane. They don't even know what it's like to feel human at 100%. So that's what we teach people. We bring the awareness, we bring the education, and we give them simple, practical tools so they can transform their health very quickly that are common sense.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit more, because I know you got a lot of awesome products and especially not only the coaching services, but like the Green 85. And I know you also kind of drive home how important it is to, stay hydrated, like water. Like that's a big one that we often don't even take into consideration because we're too busy drinking other things. But yeah, let's talk about your services a bit, and also if you want to just double back and highlight the importance of just staying hydrated, like the basics of water. That I think that
let's cover that really quick.
Okay,
so we have these things called the core 4 secrets. These are gifts that were given to me. I'm going to share them with your audience. Less than 5% of people are doing the first one, drinking half your body weight in liquid ounces of purified water daily. So if you're 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces. If you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces. Now, if the water is city tap water, that water also needs to be restructured. What does that mean? Why? Because this high pressure pipes have taken these water molecules that should be about 4 to 5 in a cluster, and they made them like 20 to 25. They're just too big. So you can drink a lot of water, but what's going to end up happening is that you're going to just pee it all out.
Yeah.
Right. It's better than not drinking water, but you're still drinking a lot of water and it's just going through you. Right. So when you restructure it, then all of a sudden it's going to go in through the intestinal lining. Because if these water molecules are too big, it's like a bowling ball trying to go through a chain link fence. It just bounces off. The chain link fence being your intestinal tract, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So we have to restructure it, make it really small, like sand, and then you throw sand through the chain link fence, and it goes right through most of it, right? I experienced this 3 years ago in 2008, when I finally drank my first restructured water, and I drank a whole quart of it. It disappeared. 15 minutes later, she had me drink another quart. It disappeared. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Wow.
I was high on water for 6 hours because of this specialized water this machine that she had. So I believe the water needs to be purified. And then if you're on city tap water, it needs to be restructured. You have to do those two things. Now, once you got all that done, this is awesome because it's passive. Once you have these systems in your home, it's like your body's mostly made of water. Like, so if you're going to drink water in your future, which we all are, hopefully,
right. Yeah. Right.
Why not set it up and make sure it's kick ass? And we have to purify our water today. Even if you're in well water or spring water, they've tested the water 1,500 miles into the interior in these pristine lakes where no man is. And they're finding that the 2 and 2.5 inch fish have both male and female organs. They turn into hermaphrodites. Why? Because of the estrogen mimickers from the microplastics that are pervasive today. You know, if you're wearing a Lycra bra, it's off-gassing these toxic chemicals right into your high hormonal area, or your panties, or your boxer briefs. Yeah. Right. Or Under Armour. Like, I thought that stuff was awesome when I was playing baseball because we used to wear the heavy, cotton sweaters or long sleeve shirts. Yeah. And they get all soaked, and halfway through the game, you have to change it, put on another one. Well, with these dry fits and these Under Armour deals, they wick the moisture off and they dry themselves, and they feel amazing. But the problem is that anything that's made from crude oil, polyesters, nylons, lycras, microfibers, couches, rugs and stuff like that, carpet, these are 24/7 off-gassing these toxic chemicals. And the problem is you can't see them, so you don't think it's happening. Exactly. But they are bioaccumulating in our tissue. So anyway, you want to purify your water. Less than 5% of the population is doing it. So there's massive room for improvement here. Now, the second one is chewing your food until liquefied. Less than 4% of the population is doing that. And we learned at that first class, internal awareness at the Hippocrates Health Institute, that your teeth masticate and break the food down so it's easier to digest. But more importantly, we secrete enzymes amylase and lipase out of these 2 ducts in our upper mouth and 4 ducts in our lower mouth to break down our starches and fats. Okay. So if you don't chew your food well, the first domino in digestion doesn't happen, and you end up with fermentation and gut rot like I had. And then you end up getting leaky gut syndrome, which 90% of us have at some level because our food is not digesting and assimilating. Most of us are fermenting our food in our gut. It's always fermentation. And we're destroying those little gentle hair-like structures called villi in our intestinal tract that do a good job of pulling the nutrients into the intestinal, from the intestines to the blood, and creating that peristaltic, that gut action to move our food through us. We really need to focus on taking care of these little villi. If you make that your main purpose in life, to make sure your villi has an awesome environment and take really good care of them, you're going to have awesome health. You're going to look younger than everybody around you, your age, and you're going to feel great, right? Right. Okay. And what's cool is when you masticate your teeth really good and chew your food to liquefy, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, who's 80 and can do 30 pull-ups. He's a medical doctor, which is awesome. I love taking advice from people that are healthy. He said that you can actually uptake your serotonin by up to 500% by stimulating those meridian points in your teeth. Really? So think about the amount of people out there that are depressed and have depression, and they're trying to take serotonin drugs. Just by chewing your food, you can jack up your happy juice up to 500% naturally. Pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
Core secret number 3 is now that you drink a lot of purified, restructured water, you're chewing your food well, now you avoid liquids with meals. Why would you do that? because you just loaded all that food with all those enzymes. So if you drink purified, restructured water or beer or wine or apple juice, you're going to dilute the enzymes and go from assimilation and digestion and assimilation of nutrients back to fermentation and gut rot. And then again, you're destroying those little hair-like structures, those little gentle villi in your intestinal lining. You got to take care of them. So for beginners, stop drinking liquids a half an hour before you eat, and then wait an hour after you're done eating. Drink a lot of liquids. If you're stage 4 or something, Olympic level athlete, you want to look and feel your best, stop eating or drinking an hour before, and then wait 2 hours after you're done eating, and then drink a lot of liquids. And less than 2% of the population is doing that one. And then the last core secret is doing some breath exercises before you eat. Oh, wow. All you have to do is breathe in through your nose like this, pause at the top, and then release out to the mouth. Just a nice, long, slow flow. And then pause at the bottom with your lungs completely empty. And then back in through the nose. Okay. And then suspend the breath. And then release. And you just repeat this process for a minute or two. And what happens is that we live in a stressed out life today. Would you agree, Keetria?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
So your body thinks that you're getting chased by a saber-toothed tiger. COVID stress, family stress, relationship stress, career stress, financial stress, all these things going on. So when your body thinks that a saber-toothed tiger is going to get you, your blood leaves your organs and it goes to your extremities, your hands, your feet, your arms and legs to run or turn around and fight. Yeah. You're not going to digest your food that well. So this breath work brings the blood from the extremities back into the organ systems. Less than 1% of the population is doing breath exercises. These core 4 secrets that we teach people, I've paid me thousands of dollars to coach them. These are the first 4 things we get in place. Well, what should I eat? Doesn't matter. You have to get the foundation in place first. Well, how should I exercise? What should I do? Nope, we're not going to even start there. You don't even have the foundation in place first. Yeah. We have to make sure that people are hydrated with proper water. They're chewing their food well. They're avoiding liquids with meals, and they're doing this breath work prior. Now, we ship products all over the world. And because of COVID, there's been delays. It might take 2 weeks to a month to get stuff to Australia or Europe somewhere, Ireland or whatever. But we're getting emails back from people hearing me on a show, and they're saying, look, my energy's up, my mental fog is lifting, my gas and bloating's going away, I'm sleeping better, and I don't even have the products yet. Wow. It's because they're starting to practice these core 4 secrets. You put these things together with our other tools and our products and the other things we teach, slowly but surely, baby step your way back to health, and that's pretty much how we do it over here.
Man, I love that. I love that. And Tim, let's talk about your podcast a bit, because I definitely want the audience to get an idea of how they can get some additional information on just, a healthier lifestyle. So you want to just kind of chime in with some information about Health Hero?
Yeah. So the Health Hero Show, you can find that link on our website at chemicalfreebody.com. Just click the podcast link, or it's on, Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. And, I interview some really cool people. I just interviewed Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, who's an MIT PhD. He's one of the top, immune system experts in the world. We just did a talk on system science of immunity and mass, where we talked about the modern immune system, not the antiquated 100-year model that the establishment's using. People can also go back and, I've got episodes on how to overcome emotional eating, or why 98% of supplements suck, and why you need to get good ones, Yeah. Right. Coronavirus strategies, proper food combining for great digestion. That's episode 7. That's a great one to listen to. The revolution in muscle building with Dr. John Jaquish. He's cracked the code on that. I added part of what he did into my coaching program. I did a talk. I went deep on intermittent fasting, how to improve your sleep naturally. There's all kinds of really, detox and nutrition. There's all kinds of cool things that we've done, and even that we teach over here that are on the show that's for free. And you can, listen to them. So we've got good guests and a lot of good information. And if you apply it, you'll see the results. And if it doesn't work for you, discard it and keep the stuff that does. That's what we do. So, yeah. But our products, you asked about our products earlier. Yeah. All of our products are real food and herbs. They're highly concentrated. They are completely naturally occurring in nature. There's no man-made anything. They're all sun-dried or air-dried extracts under 110 degrees to keep the enzymes active. There's no slave labor involved. And they're very powerful, and they work. But at the same time, they're very gentle. some of them. Like we have a gut detox product that you can take to get the digestive tract clean and get all that funk and gunk and junk out that we talked about, all that impacted fecal materials and mucoid plaques. We have another one that purifies the blood, the fat, and the muscle tissue called toxin detox.
Okay.
Heavy metals, especially people that are, if you have mercury fillings, if you're a dentist, you work around that stuff, or you're just a human being breathing in air, it's a good one. And then the greens that you mentioned was, that replaces it's called Green 85. It replaces the 85% of nutrients in the soil. So they're just tools.
Okay.
Our newest product is our Turmeric 100 product. A lot of people are taking turmeric nowadays. If you're taking turmeric, you want to make sure that it's 95% curcuminoids. That's the active that reduces the inflammation in the body. We took it to a whole nother level. We bought an expensive machine and we did what was called micronization. We made the particles small mechanically, so we didn't mess it up, but it's just very small. And when we suspend it in the liquid, it becomes 185 times more absorbable and anti-inflammatory. So there's no black pepper needed because it goes right through the mucous membrane in the mouth and directly into the bloodstream to reduce inflammation on a cellular level. So it's a complete game changer. It goes to the blood-brain barrier. And my God, on that product, we've had people with back pain take it and their blood pressure drops, or they have arthritis in their hands and their migraines go away too. So it's awesome. And you're going to get way better absorption of nutrition on a cellular level once that stuff's floating around in your bloodstream, because it actually, it's like throwing water on a campfire as far as inflammation goes.
That's perfect. And as far as your coaching services, like, is there, if someone is interested, like, is there a specific client type that you guys work with, or you want to just kind of briefly touch on how somebody can be in touch?
Well, we offer a free 30-minute coaching, one-on-one coaching appointment for everybody. Gets one of those.
Okay.
What I'm really most excited about is our group coaching program. We're just about coming out of beta test right now. We've got 20, 30 members that we've tested it with, and we're going to open that up to the public here very shortly. And that's really exciting because I go live every week, do live Q&As. We discuss a topic. I have a doctor come on. Our formulator comes on the second Wednesday of every month. We do talk with the doc, with Dr. Scott Treadway, our formulator. I've got another coach writing a blog, doing recipes and inspirational quotes. Everything's recorded if you miss it. I also have a recommended products list, and we've also built out a library of all of our manuals. Over $2,500 of the manuals is all accessible instantly for people that join group coaching. And we've created a community is what we're doing, and a place for people to, meet other people with like minds and that want to take back their health, that realize that what's going on out there is not working, that, over 80% of us are obese, overweight, or morbidly obese today. And it's nonsense. There's no reason that this should be the case. I've been able to lose all that weight and improve my health. I'm healthier today at 47, not even close.
Yeah.
I can run circles around 37-year-old self.
Wow. Yeah, makes a difference. All right, Mr. Tim James. Before we wrap up, Tim, for the entrepreneurs that are listening, please leave a couple of words of encouragement, and then also let us know where we can find and connect with you online. And then also you got a awesome promo code for the listeners today as well.
Yeah. So I leave you with this. Put yourself first. Okay. Being an entrepreneur, a mom, a dad, I see so many people putting themselves last, taking care of the family, taking care of everybody else, letting their health slide till the wheel falls off. Then they can't take care of nobody. It's like mama bear and baby bear. Mama bear digs in the rotten, tree stump, and she finds grubs. The baby sees it. Oh, there's a food source there. And she goes over the river and gets the salmon. Oh, there's food there. And then, oh, there's a big bear. Run. Right. So she's teaching. The baby's modeling. When you put yourself last, your kids model that stuff.
Yeah.
So you think you're helping them, but you're not. You're setting an example for them to be right where you are at when they're your age. Miserable. You don't want that. And for entrepreneurs, here's the deal. Why you work your asses off building these businesses? I'll work 80 hours a week so that I don't have to be told to work 40. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's the way it works. And this is cool. You have this dream. You're excited. You're passionate about something. You're really good at it. And you want to take this message out to the world. Go do that. What I want to help people do, especially entrepreneurs, because we're the backbone to society, is make sure that I can help you build up your vibrational frequency in your health. Because if you have more energy and more mental clarity, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to attract more people, literally physically, vibrationally. You're going to have more people attracted to you. They're going to be like, God, there's just something different about her, something about him I like. I want to work with him. She's got great energy, right? You're going to manifest and attract more when your body's higher, it has a higher vibrational frequency, right? So you have that. So number 2 is you build up this business and it's successful, and down the road you're making good money and all this stuff. That's part of the abundance factor. And now you get diagnosed with cancer. Well, now what are you going to do? Well, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll spend all their money that they earn trying to get back just a little bit of their health. And the other thing is your quality of life. So if you're going to go out and kick ass and have abundance financially, that's only one form of abundance. And if you lock and close all the other doors of where abundance can come to you, you're really selling yourself short. I teach people you need to have abundance in all areas. So you have the health component because that's the foundation, so that when you manifest the financial abundance, you have the health and the vitality to go enjoy it, and it'll last. You want to have a high quality of life in total. So I think it's very important that the entrepreneurs, the business owners, that the leaders out there in our country, that's what we are taking very good care of ourselves, to be modeling that to our parents, our children, and people in our community. And just by you doing that, you will have people you'll inspire other people to do the same. Not that they will, but that is a gift that you can give to your children, your family, and your community, just by modeling good health and abundance in all areas. So,
love it.
Now, you also said you wanted how to get a hold of us. The best place is just chemicalfreebody.com. That's chemicalfreebody.com. And if you guys want to try some products, click on the product tab. There's a lot of them. So just go to the savings bundles if you want to get a discount, and, start with the Jumpstart bundle. Or if you want to do everything that I do the total energy and detox bundle. That's what I take on a monthly basis. And I also take the turmeric deal. And then when you go to checkout, put in the code SOB, the number 5, and you can get an additional 5% off at checkout. So SOB5. And that way you're getting a double discount, and all of our products have a double your money back guarantee, because I know they work. And for the small percentage of people that have an issue, we'll refund your money, but please call us, and then we will find a substitute product, either if it's ours or another company's. These are just tools in the toolkit. And if for some reason it doesn't work, we just find another tool. The end goal is to get you healthy, well, vibrating at high frequency, so you can kick butt in your business and your life, and be a leader in your community.
Oh man, awesome information, awesome guest. Tim James, you guys have heard it. Hey, you better get over to Chemical Free Body and go ahead and get yourself together. All right, Tim, thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. We appreciate you coming on, and I feel like we didn't even cover a lot of the stuff that I plan to, but hopefully we can have you back in the future, and certainly appreciate all that you shared today.
Yeah, let's do it. That'd be a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Tim. You take care. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on SOB. We hope this episode has been resourceful. If you'd like to check out the latest articles or follow Keetria's website updates, just log on to Keetria.com or follow her on Twitter at KEETRIA.